My name is Ada Chen. Welcome you all. I'm the International Services Manager. Thank you, everybody joining our webinar today, and especially to our business admission, to our business partner. We have also have our students, applicants, and families here today. We have big registration list in our system, so I can see people still, the number still growing. And on our panelists, we had Dean Tully. He is our program lead for the program. And we had Kavita Magesan. She is our admission team lead. We also had Pramdeep Singh zooming from India. He's just busy for the student recruitment at this moment. We also had a special guest speaker, Catherine Ross. She will be do the presentation. So thank you for you all to joining our webinar today. It's our privilege to have you today. And we are recording this session. We will share with you the link by the end of this week. If you have any questions at any time, please do put in the Q&A tab. We will have the answer all your questions at the end. And in the same time, we'll also provide you our email address. And if you have any private question regarding your individual application, we can discuss it by email after our webinar. So I'm not holding up this presentation. I'm looking forward to see what's about this new masters. So Catherine, I hand over to you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. It's evening here for us. So kia ora, which is our traditional way of saying hello in New Zealand in our lovely Indigenous language, Te Reo Māori. I'm talking to you today about our Masters of Applied Science with a specialism in biodiversity management. So we are also calling that Tahuhu Putaio, which again is our Māori word for this qualification. So just to introduce our team, I am Catherine Ross. A little bit about my background. I've got an MSc in environmental technology and a PhD in ecology. Both qualifications I got overseas. So you may be able to tell from my accent that I'm not actually a Kiwi. I'm half Canadian and half British. So I do understand some of the challenges that international people face because I came myself to New Zealand 6 years ago. In terms of my research background, I've got an interest in wildlife monitoring and ornithology, which is birds, in case you don't know. And I've been teaching here at Ohomai for 5 years. Unfortunately, our colleague, Dr. Craig Morley, was not able to make it this evening, but he also has some very wonderful qualifications behind his name. He's got a BSc in ecology and geography, a PhD in zoology, and he is very interested in invasive species biology and biosecurity. So he does a lot of cool work with drones. And he's been here at Ohomai for 12 years. And also Dean, we've had an introduction to Dean. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself again, Dean.
Sure, why not? Yeah, kia ora, I'm Dean. I've been here for 29 years now, so a long time. I'm academic leader for marine and environmental management. And my main area of interest, I guess, is sort of subtidal monitoring. So I do a lot of monitoring in the marine environment, whether it be coral reef species up in Papua New Guinea. We've got marine reserves around New Zealand I do a lot of work in, and also a lot of work within different harbours around New Zealand, looking at different species, as well as a bit of stuff in freshwater as well. Kia ora, back to you, Catherine.
Brilliant, thank you. So, we'll start general. Why do you want to study here in New Zealand? Well, there are plenty of good reasons. New Zealand offers you a quality education which is internationally recognized, and we're able to really give you a global perspective on things. We have plenty of potential post-study work opportunities for our students. And these opportunities are really great for enhancing employability, so your likelihood of getting a job quickly after your study, and of course, having that pathway to gaining long-term residency if that is your goal and you want to stay here. And why wouldn't you? New Zealand is very competitive in terms of tuition fees. So compared with countries like the United Kingdom, America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand is very competitive fee-wise. It is also a very culturally diverse country. So we have a very rich cultural diversity here, which is a huge benefit if you're an international student and you're coming into an environment which is, we really celebrate our international community here. English is the primary language of instruction when teaching happens, but you also have the amazing possibility to pick up a little bit of our indigenous language, Te Reo Māori, as well, which you will undoubtedly be hearing lots of while you are here. But the main language of instruction tends to be English, so that suits international students. New Zealand is still one of the safest countries in the world, so that's good to know. And I can confirm, as somebody that's moved here, there's definitely a relaxed pace of life. There's definitely a great work-life balance. I think New Zealanders have the right balance with that. So you enjoy your life as well as you work hard and you play hard. And I think that's important. And my goodness, when it comes to playing hard, what an amazing, stunning range of natural beauty we have to experience here. So whether you're into mountains or beaches or forests, New Zealand really has everything. We've got some amazing national parks here. So you really could consider it to be an adventurer's paradise. There's a little bit of something for everyone. Getting into the specifics of why study at Toi Ohomai Te Pūkenga. So why would you want to study with us? Well, plenty of reasons. Compared with universities, we really offer that hands-on practical learning, which, as we know, this is how you acquire skills. This is how you acquire the skills you need for work. So really hands-on learning. All our programs are designed with consultation with industry in order to provide students with really the skills that they're going to need to get jobs, so to follow the career goals that they have. You have really great opportunities to engage with our staff, with our faculty, to have collaborative research projects. So there's plenty of opportunities on that, and on this master's program, definitely you have that opportunity. A lot of our programs are partnered with local industries and businesses. So students may have opportunities to link up with those places that they might be wanting to work with afterwards and make those connections, do all that networking, get that real life hands-on job relevant experience. As we've already said, so Toi Ohomai is very student-centered. Student well-being is a real focus for us, and study life balance is prioritized for students. So we do look after our students, I would say, really well. We get to, as staff, we get to know all our students, and we tend to have a good relationship with our students. So if you are located here in the Bay of Plenty, we have plenty of recreational opportunities that you may want to partake in. Everything from hiking, mountain biking. So especially here in Rotorua, we have internationally famous mountain biking facilities, water sports. So we've got our beautiful lakes here. There's a picture of Lake Rotorua there in the picture with Makoia Island in the middle. There's so many natural wonders. So our region has a lot of geothermal, which is quite an exciting thing to see if you've not experienced that kind of habitat before. So it's a very unique and attractive place to live. And again, we have a really wonderful, vibrant international student community here. And our international students are very well looked after by Ada and Co. in the international office. And just a little plug for us here in Te Pūkenga, we are the largest tertiary education provider in Australasia. So I guess there's strength in numbers. Right, so on to the specifics of our program. So we have two options available for international students to study. The first is to go for the full master's program. So that's a 180 credit postgraduate qualification. As part of this master's qualification, you would do 120 credit thesis. The other option is to go for the postgraduate diploma. Now this would be 120 credit qualification, and the only difference is the thesis. The credits available for the thesis are smaller, so it's a 60 credit dissertation rather than a 120 credit thesis. Everything else about those two options is very, very similar. So the master's would be a 1.5 years full-time study, and the postgraduate diploma would be a year full-time study. So going into a bit of depth now about the master's and the postgraduate diploma, because these are the papers that you would actually do as part of both of those programs. So you start off with your compulsory courses. There's 2 compulsory courses. The first is called Partnership and Stakeholder Engagement. Now, what that course is really about is looking to improve the cultural competency of our graduates. So we are able to effectively engage with Indigenous peoples and stakeholders, anyone that is interested in the kind of work that you're doing. But we know from employers here in New Zealand that having those cultural skills is absolutely essential to getting a job here. So that's why we have that on our program as a compulsory course. The second compulsory course is Applied Research Methods. So this is where students will use theory and knowledge from a range of scientific disciplines and look at how you actually apply that in a practical context. So they'll gain proficiency in research methods and analyzing data, and how you actually apply that to address an applied research issue. And also that's a great little course because it gives you a leg up onto your thesis, because you actually start preparing the proposal for your thesis within that course. So those are our 2 compulsory courses. The awesomely flexible thing about this course is you have a couple of options for your electives. So the electives that are hopefully going to be on offer for our students starting next year. This will be subject to the number of students we have applying, but the elective courses that we have on offer are the Contemporary Issues paper. Now, the reasoning behind this paper is the fact that applied science is so fast-paced, it's continuously evolving. This paper gives students the opportunity to get to look in depth at an issue that's really at the forefront of applied science, and you can tailor that to your interests. So if you have a topic that you're really passionate about, you can have a look at that topic in this course. And it might be something that's a bit too broad to do for your dissertation. So it gives you another opportunity to study something that's in your area of interest, and really come up with some practical recommendations around that issue. So that's a really exciting course. The second elective is biosecurity. So biosecurity strategy and implementation. So biosecurity is really, really important in New Zealand because we have such a unique animal and plant flora and fauna. And because of that, New Zealand has a really world-class biosecurity system in place. We are really world leaders in that area. But biosecurity is an issue. So how you manage, control, how you deal with invasive species is actually a global issue that is important everywhere in the world. But it just so happens that New Zealand are really, really world leading in this area. So it's a great place to study biosecurity. And you'll learn about things like the theory behind biosecurity, relevant legislation, and also the practical side, the practicalities of managing biosecurity. So that's a great course. I know students are going to want to do all 4 of these courses once I explain them, because they're all so exciting, but you just get to pick 2 electives. Environmental monitoring. So the idea behind that course is it gives students the opportunity to develop the practical skills they need to monitor the environment, to monitor wildlife or the environment. And yes, so how to apply those techniques. The great thing about this course is we're partnering with external organizations, so students really get a hands-on, industry relevant bunch of skills and exposure to technologies that are at the forefront of this sort of area. And finally, our remote sensing and GIS paper. So this, again, GIS is a really great skill to have if you're hoping to work in the environmental area. So this is about geospatial mapping, how you collect geospatial data and map it using a GIS software. And students will get the opportunity to actually collect data on this course, and then it's about what you do with that data in the appropriate software. So all very important skills, all industry relevant skills. Okay. In terms of what students will actually be doing on this program, well, there's a whole range of ways students learn on our program. As I've said, we really have this focus on practical, hands-on learning, and this is the best way to learn. The best way to learn about ecology and wildlife and the environment is to get out into the environment, to do practical things. That's the best way to learn, and we really do believe that. We will have, you still need your theory to back this up, so we will have classes, so students present in the classroom learning from teachers in the classroom. We will have various field trips, so again, getting out and about and experiencing the vast range of habitats we have available to us in this area. Students for various courses will attend block courses and workshops where they get kind of focused, dedicated time available for picking up the skills they need. And that's a great opportunity as well to get to know your fellow students, to get that network. Oh, look, network. Networking. So yes, networking and working with business partners as we go through the course is a really great way for students to get their foot in the door, to get to know local people who potentially could end up employing them. And we have, yes, so I did also mention this already, but one of the most valuable things you gain when you're doing study of this type is that your network of peers and students who are learning with you, because you will learn a lot from them. Everyone's got something to offer. Everyone's bringing different skills and knowledge to the group. So I've mentioned those 4 electives, and those are the ones that are going to be rolled out in semester 1 next year. But from semester 2 and onwards, there should be a whole range of other electives that will be available, and you can have a read of these here. So in the future, this should be a really flexible course with lots and lots of options for electives. So you can really choose what it is that you're most passionate about. In terms of assessments, we think we have really great ways of assessing what our students know, and this does not involve giving them heaps of exams. In fact, we have no exams on our course. Students will do things like create portfolios of the work they've been doing. They'll debate topics, they'll discuss scenarios, they'll do problem solving, they will critique topics and bits of work that they've done. So we think these are much better ways of determining what people really know, rather than just getting them to write what they know in an exam. Students on the postgraduate and on the master's will do this research dissertation or thesis, and this piece of research is an awesome opportunity for them to delve really deeply into an area that they're passionate and interested in, and do some unique work that has meaning. So you're contributing to the field of applied science. How exciting is that? Both the postgraduate diploma and master's degrees are full-time study options. So students would be expected to dedicate around about 40 hours a week to their studies. And one of the benefits of studying with us is that we've got a really comprehensive amount of support services available to us. And it's not just having academic support. There's pastoral support. There's help with what comes next. So career guidance, helping with your CVs, having assistance with where you live and your visas and all those kinds of issues that you face as international students. In terms of employment pathways, so where you might go once you've got this qualification. So students that do the postgraduate diploma, this is quite a good opportunity. So taking the postgraduate diploma is a good way to gain specialist knowledge or skills that will help you advance in your career, or possibly slightly switch direction. So if you've maybe started off in your undergraduate studying chemistry and you think, well, I want to move into the environmental field, this might be your pathway. The master's is that slightly higher level, which allows you to specialize more in a particular field. There's more of a focus on the research. So you have that year-long thesis. And this would be, if you were planning to continue on in a research field, that would be the much better, stronger option for you. In terms of the job roles that you might get, to be honest, these are similar for the postgraduate diploma and the master's degree, but the master's degree would just give you that ability to probably progress faster and progress to a higher level. You can see plenty of examples of the kinds of roles you might do if you do these qualifications. So I won't go through those, but they're listed there for you. And in terms of employers, so potential employers could be our Department of Conservation. So this is the agency within New Zealand that's responsible for conserving our nature and cultural heritage. And DOC does employ a whole range of different types of so you could be a ranger for DOC, or you could be a scientist, or you could be a project manager. So that might be a good place to go. Also, non-governmental organizations. So there's plenty of those here in New Zealand, places like Forest and Bird. And also, I mean, there's plenty of international NGOs. You've got BirdLife International, WWF, Climate Foundation, Rainforest Action Network, Friends of the Earth. There's plenty of places that need these kinds of skills. Research institutions. So here in New Zealand, we have our Crown research institutes like Scion, Landcare Research, NIWA. There's a few more, I won't list them all. AgResearch, there's another one. But these are all good places that you could, if you were going to head in that research direction. And of course, academic positions at educational institutions as well. Local and central government. So we have regional councils and local councils here, and they will employ ecologists and conservation managers and project managers. So that's another good place to end up. And of course, your other governmental departments like the Ministry for Primary Industries. Yeah, so there's plenty of potential places that you could end up, including being, if it is your desire to go into the research area and carry on, this will be a good pathway to that. Right, entry requirements. So we're expecting to have an intake date, the first one coming up beginning of next year, 26th of February 2024. And we're planning to also have another intake in July. Fees here for the postgraduate diploma, so the 1 year full study, $27,500, and $38,750 for the 18-month master's degree, which sounds like a bit of a bargain to me. What else have we got here? So so this is talking through our requirements for admission to the program. So obviously English language skills are going to be very important. You're going to need an IELTS result of 6.5 overall, with no score in any of the individual areas less than 6, or another accepted English test equivalent. You must have a bachelor's degree or higher. If you've already got a master's, come and have another one. That's no problem with that. So a bachelor's degree in a relevant discipline, which would need to be achieved with merit or at least a grade of B- or higher. And finally, so having some kind of professional qualification in a relevant discipline, which is equivalent. So I guess this is an either or. You could have a relevant discipline, something equivalent to a bachelor's degree. So students will need to provide 2 professional references, a character reference and an employment reference. You will need to provide a 400-word statement of purpose. And this is your opportunity to tell, this is really important to us because this tells us why you want to study this qualification. Explain to us, what are your reasons for applying? Why have you chosen this course? Where do you want this to take you in your life? So we're really interested in what you have to say about that. So it should be a really personal thing that you've written from your heart. We will need to see a copy of your CV, and we'll also be wanting to have, we don't like saying interview because interview sounds a bit scary, but we would want to talk to you before you start this course, just so we know that this program is right for you and you're right for the program. It's about finding the right fit. It's not supposed to be a scary interview type situation. Documents you'd need to provide. So obviously you fill out an application form and make sure you fill all the sections out. You'll need a copy of your passport or other identity document like your birth certificate or national identity card. Copies of your qualifications, so your high school diplomas or any degree certificates or transcripts from things that you've studied before. So your BSc. And also evidence of your IELTS results. And of course, these documents all need to be verified. So I've talked a lot. Just before we end here, I'm going to try and stick this video on for you, which gives you a nice little flavor of what our course is offering. So just bear with me for a moment. A long moment. Just loading it here. Hold on, hold on. Can we see that, Ada?
Here at Te Pukenga, we're thrilled to introduce our new Masters program for 2023, the Master of Applied Science and Biodiversity Management. New Zealand has a variety of ecosystems and natural environments. This program at Te Pukenga offers a unique opportunity for students to study around the country and research the organisms they are interested in.
What I'm really excited about most for the Masters program is the chance to keep the practical side of things going.
Getting those real hands-on experiences. They're on land, they're out there doing kiwi surveys, in the field tramping in the bush, getting all those real skills that people want from employees nowadays.
I found it really helpful at Te Pukenga how they have blended learning where you can study at home, then come to campus for hands-on lessons with other students. It's really cool being able to travel to different campuses. You're not just confined to one.
Lecturers who'll be delivering on the programs, they've all got a Masters, PhDs, they've worked in industry, so they've got a whole heap of skills that they're able to bring back to these students.
We actually have a really cool team. Everybody is super friendly and super passionate about what they do.
I feel like there's this real whānau vibe. It's smaller numbers than, you know, like a massive lecture hall where you have hundreds of people and you only know a few of them. So you get more time with the staff, you get more time to get to know each other.
The connections that the tutors have made with industry are very close.
They're always, you know, passing on job opportunities.
I want to help solve problems in the world of science. If I can play a small part in that, that is what I want to do.
I'm really excited to study a Master of Applied Science.
Okay. So I think we're at the end of this lovely little presentation now.
Beautiful. I just so enjoy so much. Thank you so much, Catherine.
Okay.
And what I take on from this new master is really hands-on. Really, you can connect to the industries with the real people and apply learning. That's what I think is really good. Now we're coming to the Q&A session. So if you have questions, put in the Q&A tab. We are going through them now one by one. Thank you for people to putting the questions in. Now we're probably going through some of them now. So the first question probably for Catherine. The first question from Amanpreet. And Amanpreet is asking, can you explain a bit about the thesis in the program?
Yeah, so the thesis is it's a research project that you will do on a topic that you have chosen. So if you are interested in, for example, butterflies, maybe you could come and study butterflies, and you will design a research methodology in order to go out and survey the species you're interested in, collect data about that species, and write up your thesis. And it's a long process. This is done over a year, but it's in a topic that you have chosen. So everybody has their own thesis. You have a completely different research topic to everyone else. Does that answer that question?
And I guess the ideal too is that you work with, ideally you've even got a thesis that is sort of something that industry wants. And so you may be working with someone like Scion, who'll actually have a project that may be working on plastics. At the moment, they're looking at getting rid of plastic and using wood to be able to make new bags, etc. So in a different way from paper bags, obviously, but that they're looking at new ways to do things. So if you can link with industry, that's a really good way for your employment to follow after you've sort of done your thesis.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dean. That's really good. And I'm guessing we assign a supervisor to support a student to start with the whole process from the proposal until you collecting data in writing a thesis and how you do the presentation. So we do have a supervisor to support this, isn't it, Catherine?
Correct.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the benefits of having our Te Pukenga network is you have a huge range of different academics with different skills and different backgrounds to support you in the specific area that you want to study.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. We had a few entry requirement questions here. For example, Neha's asking what's the percentage requirement for the B minor for the degree. So I think we did discuss that beforehand.
We did.
Yes. So we're looking at 65 to 70%, 65 to 69 it actually says, but 65 to 69.5%, somewhere in that sort of category.
So that is for the entry requirement for the student who already got a degree. This is the
Yes.
percentage we're looking at.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. The next is still entry requirement. So routes, is it routes? He's asking is what's the relevant disciplines or for the bachelor degrees. So yeah, science is quite a wider discipline. So any good example you thinking that kind of group of students would be ideal for this program?
It is wide. I mean, ideally you've got your biology, your chemistry, veterinary science maybe, and probably the idea of that information session that Catherine or Craig would run is to sort of get an idea of the student, to see what their background is, and if that background really matches. We don't want a student sort of coming in, it's going to be unfair to them if they haven't got a background in that area. So I think that's part of the purpose of that information session as well. Is that right, Catherine?
I would say so. You know, particularly you may not have the most relevant degree, but if you had work experience or you know, if you've actually gone out and got experience and knowledge off your own back in this area, I think that would also be considered.
Okay, what that mean is if you any students or even applicants in the room, you think you're interested in this program, so contact our admission team. Will assist you to assess your document whether will be an ideal program for you. So I think it's up to the individual level. Again, it depends on your degree, depends on your work experience. So your CV, your references is quite important for when you're applying for the program. Excellent. Okay, now look at the next one. Okay, the next one is if the students already got a bachelor degree to apply for this master program, is it the work experience is mandatory to get them into the admissions?
Yeah, no work experience would be necessary to get in there. So if they've just recently passed their bachelor's degree, they could apply. They don't have to have been working out in industry. If they've got a Bachelor of Science, they'll be fine.
Okay. Okay, so ideally this program is for the science stream student to study that program, but what if the student complete from different stream and different background? Can they apply for it?
I think in that case, that's where the relevant work experience comes in. So if you're coming from a very different background, you might have to show us that you have a reason to be on this course. You do have some relevant background information and knowledge.
So there's 400 words for the statement's purpose that will how you look at yourself into the program, why you apply for the program, how you link for your background of your background for your education or work experience linked to this program, and how this program going to for your future career. I think that's quite important. Put in your statement of purpose, then Catherine, then you decide it from there whether the student meet the entry requirement or not. Isn't it?
Sounds
good.
right.
ADA and immigration also looks that your program has to be relevant to your background and it has to be progression. So we need to keep that aspect also in mind.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Let me check any question we haven't answered. Thank you. So many questions coming up. Yeah, we answered that one already. This is part. Okay, that's a quite good question. So we have a person here asking, let us know the location.
So location of us, we're in the Bay of Plenty in the North Island of New Zealand. So we've got South Island and North Island. Our Mokoia campus, where I'm based here, is in Rotorua, which is very, very central in the North Island. So it's really well connected to a lot of things. It's a great place to use as a base for sightseeing because you're kind of in the middle of things.
Yeah, from the videos, when you look at the quite scenic video, you feel it's quite, we're setting up, but it's real. Actually, that's how we spend our weekends in that kind of scenic environment. That's where we lived.
It really is beautiful.
It's beautiful in a bit, yeah. Yeah. Pramdeep, is anything you want to add in?
Where are we planning to deliver? Are we delivering this in Tauranga or Rotorua?
Rotorua.
Okay.
So I think it's good. So, okay. The next question is, okay, there's quite a immigration questions. Is these programs is in a green list or not? Pramdeep, can you answer that?
I knew environmental sustainability is in green list. I need to check about biodiversity. We'll come back to you.
Yeah, let's check that one because it's quite immigration questions. We need to deep down and ask immigration for that. But Catherine, you actually mentioned about the industry connections. So something to me is all the projects actually linked to the industry. You actually, while you're doing your project in your thesis, you're working on the industry already, and that's how you pathway to your job, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great way to get your foot in the door if you're already working with the institute and you already know the people that work there. New Zealand's a very small country, actually, so getting to know people while you're studying is really, really important.
Okay. We had a question there from Anita. Anita, you had a question there. I'm not exactly sure what you asked.
I can answer.
Okay.
I can answer, Ada. Backlog means the reappear. So backlog doesn't matter as long as the student has got B minus. So which, as Dean explained, between 65 to 69%. As long as they have got that final percentage, they can get admission. And gap also, like you need to explain what have they been doing in the gap. Because again, that is the immigration also sees if the student hasn't been involved in any useful activity, then the chances of visa will be less. So you need to find out if they have been employed for last 10, 15, 20 years, working in sort of similar field in biodiversity area, environment area, there's no problem in getting visas. EDA knows that we have got visas of 45-year-old also, 48 years old also in our various masters at Ohomai.
Yes. Okay, now we having a questions about accommodation. Is there any accommodations on campus for students? Kavita, are you able to answer that?
Yeah, so at the moment we do have some options available. So if students want to go for homestay or certain types of accommodation is available, but you can actually send an email to our staff, and the email address is international.accommodation@ohomai.ac.nz, and we will check what is available and depending on what your request is, and we'll get back to you.
Thank you,
And
Kavita.
And on top of that, we have a lot of WhatsApp group also set up in Rotorua. So once you have got the visa, if you send me your number, we can add you in that WhatsApp group. And these are set up by our alumni. So they do also help the new students also. So you can be part of those WhatsApp group and you can enter your requirement in that when you are arriving, are you looking for a shared accommodation? You are looking for an independent accommodation. So a lot of people are able to find accommodation through those groups.
Thank you, Pramdeep. We do it behind the scenes. Apart from our academic team, we also had a partial care team to support all the new arrival students. For example, arranging your shuttle coming from the Auckland airport to Rotorua or Tauranga. We also had a partial care team to support accommodation. We do have the website on our webpage. You can see that our accommodation arrangement for all the students are coming end of the year or beginning next year. We also had one of the workshop. We're going to do an online workshop specifically just how to support you from your home to New Zealand. So we will do that workshop separately. We will advertise with our applicants as well. And meanwhile, we also will send you a checklist once you pay your fees, and that checklist will provide you all the information you need to come to New Zealand. Right. Any other questions I haven't answered? Let me have a look. Okay, yeah, there's a person asked for age limit, and probably all the answer, we don't have the age limit for this program. Am I right, Catherine and Dean?
You are correct.
Yeah, and we do have applicants age of 50. He's asking, is any job opportunity available for mature applicants?
I can't see why not. Yeah, no, I can't see why not. In fact, at the moment, New Zealand's got a labour shortage, so it's quite a good position to be in.
Especially people with the high, the kind of skills, high skills,
Yes.
the skill shortage on the list. Then pretty much, it's not about the age; it's about the people who have the skills and also the experiences. You pretty much get a job quite quickly than the fresh graduates from the schools, I think. So team have I missed out any particular questions I haven't answered?
I think you have answered all.
Yeah, we answer most of it actually. So we probably give a few more minutes, and if you do have any burning question, type it in our Q&A, and then we go through them all.
Eda, there was one again. Somebody asked about clarify bachelor's degree. I will personally say that if the bachelor degree is in science background, then it makes much more sense because the person has studied science in their degree level. There are a lot of papers in this program which are related to science, so they will find it little bit easier than people with non-science background. And again, immigration will also see it that this is a relevant program and it is a progression. So anything if they have done science, like yesterday I had 2 applicants who had done Bachelor of Chemistry, so they will be also fine. They have studied physics, chemistry. If somebody done physics, chemistry, biology, if somebody has done Bachelor in botany, somebody has done Bachelor in zoology. So these type of science subjects will be good actually. And then later on, as when Catherine will run that information session, they can find out more about this and whether they are fit for this program. Most probably they will be yes, but that in that information session, it will be 100% sure.
Yeah, seems like we answer most of the questions now. So meanwhile, if you do thinking of any question we could not answer you today, or anything you had a student has certain background you would like for us to check whether this person eligible for the program, send us an email, and the email address, or I put it in our chat box. Catherine, do you mind to share your last slide on your PowerPoint? That is also our last slide. Yeah, this is our email address. You put it there, remember that. Yeah, with the email address before that. Yeah, that's the one. You can share that. They're great. So this is our admission team. Someone asking, would you sharing this presentation? Yes, I will. So the PowerPoint and also the recording I will share with all of you by the end of this week. In the same time, we also had a few more presentations coming up for the next few weeks for varieties of programs. I also will share with you our registration link. So if you're interested to look at the other programs we are promoting now, and I will send to you very shortly. So that's answer all the questions. Now we probably can close for the webinar today. I will get each of you, our guest speaker, to talk to to have the final words with our audience. Dean?
Shall I start?
Okay, you probably start, Catherine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thanks everyone for your attention. It's a pleasure to be able to speak to isn't modern technology amazing to be able to speak to so many different people in so many different countries. So I hope you have found what we've said today interesting, and maybe meet you in 2024.
Thank you, Catherine.
Yes, kia ora, everyone. Thank you very much for coming along. And yes, as Catherine said, it's a fantastic course. You're getting a whole lot of practical and hands-on skills as well, which is vital alongside that sort of theory knowledge. And if you can really get those sort of internships and jobs working with industry, it should sort of serve you very well. So have fun.
Thank you, Dean. Pramdeep?
No, thank you very much. I think I have met a lot of you while traveling to Sri Lanka, India, and Nepal. So thanks for attending the session. Very interesting, masters. If you have any more questions, you have my WhatsApp number. You can ask me or ring me. And hopefully we can see some of your good quality students in February 2024 intake.
Okay, it's my privilege to having you all today in the webinar, and thank you to our panelists. And most importantly, I thank you for our audience, our applicants, students, families, and our business partners. So thank you to all of you today. and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person in future. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.